Did y'all see this picture? I was kind of scared to make this video, but then I thought about it and I realized that that's exactly what oppressive systems do. They make us feel scared in an effort to silence us. And I don't know about y'all, but this oligarchy looks more and more oppressive to me almost every day. That means that it's even more important to be brave enough to ask. This is a photo of a Tesla store in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for years. The cops will barely go to the south side to help actual human beings. But there's 30 of them here standing guard so that the richest man in the world can protect his shitty cars. Obviously, these cops are paid for by the tax dollars of the people of Chicago, and the CPD receives federal funding as well. Today, Congress just passed another bill to avoid government shutdown. Again, I feel like this government is on the verge of shutdown constantly, and the bill included an extra $6 billion in funding for the military. It's obviously not hyperbolic to say that in addition to wasting resources with shit like this, these organizations kill human beings. And as taxpayers, we are legally forced to pay for this. If we don't, if we refuse, we face the threat of going to jail. Does any of that sound like actual freedom? Tesla reported $2.3 billion in US income alone in 2024 and paid $0 in federal US taxes. Elon Musk paid a 3.27% income tax rate from 2014 to 2018. Jeff Bezos paid less than 1%. Warren Buffett paid almost zero. On top of all of that, numerous federal agencies were investigating Musk before Trump's election. And now Musk has this incredibly powerful, unelected government position. In terms of conflicts of interest, Musk came in with 100 contracts with 17 different federal agencies. According to this bulletin from the House Judiciary Committee itself, several of the departments that were investigating Musk have become early targets of DOGE, the initiative that Musk created. Y'all, we can go on social media like I'm doing right now to complain about all of this, to try and spread the word. We can make fun of Musk online for being narcissistic and cringe and embarrassing. We can physically go to protests. We can vote harder. But from what I can tell, what seems to actually be most effective is impacting their money. And I don't mean this to be flip at all because I love this movie, but if I learned one thing from Mean Girls, it's this.
How do you overthrow a dictator? You cut off her resources.
We're already seeing this happen in terms of the tremendous drop in Tesla's share price and in Musk's personal net worth as well. But Musk is a symptom of a much larger problem, and we can come together to take steps to address that problem at its root. What if we organized and chose not to pay federal taxes until billionaires were paying their fair share? Until we had more insight into where our tax dollars were specifically going? Until every possible loophole that billionaires use to get out of paying taxes was closed. I think that could be a powerful place to start. I'm very much not a CPA or a tax attorney, so if there are any tax lawyers out there listening to this, please put those loopholes in the comments. Let us know what those loopholes would be. In 2013, I gave a TEDx talk at Princeton. I ended up sharing about my experience with sexual assault at a time when nobody was talking about that. And one of the other speakers was a Princeton tax professor. And I remember the point of his talk was essentially that we could solve global poverty if rich people simply pay their fair share. The reason I was scared to make a video discussing this is because of my sense that this idea of questioning whether or not we should be paying taxes would be perceived to be too radical for this moment in time. But the very founding of this country comes back to people protesting unfair taxation. And I wanted to start a discourse so that we can shift this idea in the Overton window away from being perceived to be radical so that it can become policy. I want us to have good roads and good public schools, which we don't even have, by the way. I'm a product of public schools that are not good. But we need to see these people who are cheating the system doing their part. Because the other significant thing about this moment in time is that, we have this ability to disseminate information and connect with one another and to organize more quickly than we've ever had before, simply because the internet exists. And the government's current approach is obviously not working. We as a tax-paying society are being forced to fund that dysfunction through fear. And humanity is outgrowing any form of reign through fear. So our systems need to reflect that. When Seeds gets a request for help from, say, a Black woman who's about to give birth and she needs more money to make sure her medical expenses are covered because she lives in the United States and the institutions that we are forced to pay for do not take care of these most basic of human needs. I can't tell y'all how angry I get, but we really can do something about it. We can set boundaries around the overreach of the existing systems, and we can support new higher vibratory systems like Seeds that are coming in to transcend them.